This is Mark B's perspective, and I've recently seen several videos where Dashers are encouraging other Dashers to take lowball orders and wait for DoorDash to benefit you by giving you a so-called good order. I'm here to tell you exactly why that strategy will be detrimental to the future of DoorDash drivers. If you in this to make money, man, continue watching as I give you the real game about being a Dasher. So before I explain to y'all what I see as a fair order, I want to explain the process that I've seen through my own experiences. Yeah, I explained I have over 15,000 deliveries, right? Over 1,000 shopping deliveries. And I'm gonna just mention I do not do I no longer do shopping delivery because in most cases, in my experiences, you're doing more work than what you're getting paid. But I'm gonna talk about all the other deliveries, whether you're delivering food, groceries, they put in the trunk and you just drive, or alcohol, or whatever it may be. When a delivery is sent out to a driver, right? If the first driver declines it, it will go to another driver. In most cases, they will add something to it because DoorDash has realized this is really not a desirable order. So the first person declined it, it goes to another person. Right? They may add 50 cents, they may add $1, or whatever they may add. If that person declines it and it continues to rotate through drivers, right? They want to get that order delivered, so DoorDash is kind of pressured to add more money to that delivery. So then they add money to it, and eventually a driver will accept it and deliver that order. I've noticed that in my market, there's been a lot of longer deliveries, 10 miles, 15 miles, right? It wasn't always like that. I seen a $15 15-mile order with a franchise where there are multiple stores, but they got you assigned to go 15 miles. To me, that really doesn't make sense. And to explain that a little bit more, I'm going to explain what I see as fair orders and when is a fair order. And you decide whether you take an order or not. That's up to you. But I'm just saying, if we accept everything that DoorDash sent us, right? We're explaining to the DoorDash bots or the DoorDash system that that's what we want. They judge us, right, in our market, and they set a standard within our market. What's, this much for that much, and they go by how we respond, whether we're accepting or declining orders. And they also, in addition to our market, our specific zones, right? And then also, as an individual driver, there's testing. They test on a daily basis how we respond to the orders. Are we desperate? And that's what really encourages DoorDash to either send us a high or low paying order based on what you have been accepting. So let me explain what I consider a fair order. And we don't always get this because we know DoorDash, man, wants to pay us as low as possible. But here we go, man. Any delivery for me, 1 to 5 miles, has to be, right, $1 per mile. Any delivery that goes between 1 and 5 miles with a minimum of $5. If it's 1 mile, it should be $5. That should be the minimum. And we know DoorDash don't always want to give that. That you'll see some $3 orders, $4 orders, but the minimum should be $5. Even if it's 1 mile, even if it's a half a mile. If you gotta start up your car and go, that should be the standard. That's a fair order. DoorDash may not always give you that, but I want you to understand what's a fair order. Any order between 6 and 9 miles should be $1.50 to $2 per mile. So example, if you got a six mile order, if the order is going 6 miles, it should be $9. Don't think that's a banger, because that's not a banger. That's just a fair order. And as I mentioned, DoorDash may not always send that. But until we stand up as drivers and tell them this is what we demand and continue to decline, I'm not saying be out here declining because you got to make money. But let them know I'm not just taking anything. Any delivery 10 miles or more is a $2 minimum. It doesn't matter to me. If you're going 10 miles, it should be $2 a mile. Reason being, if they take you 10 miles out of your zone, you got to come back 10 miles. You're actually doing 20 miles. So for a $10 order, a 10-mile order, it should be $20. That's fair. As I mentioned, DoorDash will not always give you that, right? Because as long as you accept it, if they give you a 10-mile order for $2, if you accept it, DoorDash going to be good. It's going to be no prize for that. They will continue to, give you what we call these trash orders. It's time that I made good money and they send me what I call a low ball order. I'm feeling pretty good and I accept it. I noticed that right after that, in a lot of cases, not always, they would try to send one back to back. I'm like, man, I bless y'all with that one. That's my limit, either one more, but don't just keep sending it to me. And then I have to decline it to remind them, listen, man, I'm not desperate. I'm not just accepting anything. This is my livelihood, right? We out here to earn money. We out here to pay these bills and playing these games with DoorDash, right? It will just determine whether you actually make a profit, man. So just take that with a grain of salt, these numbers that I'm putting out here. Understand that these are fair orders. These are not bangers. These are fair orders. So I just want us to know what a fair order looks like. So in my personal experience, man, I remember declining like 3 orders back to back before, right? And I notice when that happens, we get a better understanding. When I say we, I mean me as the driver and DoorDash, because now they start sending orders, closer to what I prefer. One time, and this is not a lot, but I do remember one time I declined 6 orders back to back. I believe that DoorDash kind of tests how desperate we are. Sometimes they will put the clamps on. I don't know if it'd be a glitch in the system, but I have experienced where it's going, I'm getting orders back to back, and then it just dries up. And right after that point, you see the bad orders coming in. So DoorDash plays a lot of games, man. And another thing that I noticed, speaking to the customers, I had customers ask me, how can I give you more tip? Because DoorDash only allowed me to give this amount. So know that DoorDash are, I guess they recommending a certain amount for a tip, and in the recommendation they can't go higher. But I think there's a way that where customers can add to the tip. But sometimes that's too much work. After customers get their orders, they're not thinking about adding tips. Though it does happen, but it's kind of rare. I have had customers add a tip after the fact. So you have DoorDash you know, recommending certain tips. And these are good paying customers, some of them. But when they might have wanted to put $10 tip, they may say, well, we recommend 5. So that's what we're dealing with DoorDash. But DoorDash are going to make sure that they get their fees and all those things that they charge customers that we don't see a dime of. So I want y'all to know that. Listen, man, remember that DoorDash is watching us as drivers, right? Watching our behaviors. And if we continue to act desperate, they will send us desperate orders. Just want y'all to know that if we continue to act desperate and dance to the beat of the DoorDash or gig work drum, that's exactly what we're going to get. I know that we got to make a living. We want to see money coming in. So, man, accept what y'all want to accept, but understand that for you as a customer and also as a future of Dashers, the orders that you accept will affect that. Because we are telling DoorDash or whatever gig work you're doing that I'm all right with this order for that amount of miles. Just remember that. So I want to thank you. Thank y'all for watching the video. If you have any questions, put it in the comments section. Any questions you may have about should I take this order or help me better understand my money to miles, put those questions in the comments section. I'm hopefully here to help. I'm not here to bash nobody. I encourage you to go out and continue to get that money, but don't allow DoorDash to use and abuse you. Remember, your vehicle, as we drive, the more we drive, we're putting wear and tear. So we need to be earning a profit out here in the gig economy. As I said, I thank y'all for watching, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you found value in this video. If you did find value, I ask that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I make a video. Listen, man, y'all be safe out there as you're driving this gig, working in the economy, especially if you're doing it at night. And this is for males or females because it can get dangerous. But we all got to earn a living. At night, I want to encourage y'all to make sure you have a flashlight, man, because some of these addresses, you can't even see the address. Thanks again, man. Until next time, y'all be safe out there. And do this for a purpose, man. Do this to pay these bills. We're not doing this for our health. But y'all be safe out there. Peace.